So we just do this just to get them used to moving their feet in the tie-ups, making room for, obviously, for the staff when they go to saddle them or put boots on them. And it's also really good backing them into the corners. They get used to the feel of the rails. That helps out a lot for the barriers. Oh, there you go, mate. But yeah, but main thing, especially these colts, they tend to want to squash some of the staff up against the rails. So we just get them, move their feet, just get them used to moving out of the way. And that way they become easier to saddle. The more ground manners we can teach him, the better it is for the staff. Every time he's got bit in his mouth, we're working on collection and suppleness. So it just creates muscle memory. He starts to get in the habit that as soon as he feels a bit in his mouth, he knows he's going to be required to collect up and work properly. And that'll develop those top line muscles so he can start working long and low. So you can see that rudeness starting to come through. I'll just move down here. So yeah, it's always good backing colts up. Just get them used to stepping out of your space. That what he just did there, trying to run over top of you. We're trying to kill those habits. Hey. All right. We got the ball. Obviously, we put it all over him, roll it underneath, get it used to touching. Hey, mate. Okay. Get it used to touching underneath. All right, I like to put it under them and walk them onto it. That way they get used to moving their back legs, touching the ball, sort of simulating walking into the barriers, touching the rails. And that way, take the kick out of them. The quicker we take the kick out of them, the safer they are for themselves and for the staff. Now we'll get a couple of constant circles out of him. Just take a little bit of freshness out of him, let him sort himself out. So the main thing we're trying to do here is, as he's lunging, he'll settle down and start to collect up and carry himself now nicely. But at the moment you can see he's a little bit hard against the beard. He's lifting his tongue. So if he does that too much, he get a bit fast. We change the direction again. All right, you can see he's been real rude this morning. He wants to come in, he wants to take up my space, wants to bring the shoulder in and push us about. So we'll do it the easy way. We'll just send him out and let him just work himself. And then we'll bring him back in and get him listening. Ooh. There, good. Okay. Good. Okay, come on. Ooh. So that's how we want him to walk off. Starting to lower the pole, starting to concentrate, ears starting to look towards me. Set up a bit of a pattern just to do on them once they're starting to travel all right, just so they've got something to look forward to. They know that when we get to a witch's hat, they've got to turn. So they start to think about it themselves and turn themselves, and they learn the pattern themselves. And then once they're starting to do it all right, all I've got to do is add the aids. All right, come on, mate. So yeah, so hop on them from the mountain block. That way, step to the high step, they get used to seeing someone up above them. Helps them out in the barriers. Like I said, I do the girth up in phases, and this is the last one. Do it up nice and firm for the final one. Make sure everything's safe. Good. When I hop on them, always put a little bit of a kink in the neck. That way, if anything goes wrong, you can just pull them into a circle. All right. Here we go, mate. So yeah, so not many straight lines, just heaps of, just turns, just serpentines everywhere. So I just turn around each which that, around the mountain block. Just get them used to just changing all the time. Yeah. So for the early rides like this fella, this can be, it's not very fluent. It's quite messy, but yeah, as long as they're going in the general direction. So once they start going good, I'll start moving the shoulders across and then putting their head in the right place so they're not over bent, and put them up through the paces. But at the moment he's just learning. He's still, you know, you turn his head and he still wants to walk in a straight line. So we'll just guide him around a little bit, add a little bit of the aids. You know, put the outside leg on, push him around a little bit, just get him used to stepping off that leg. So you can see that that muscle memory starting to kick in. He's nice and low, the pole's low. You don't have to hard hold him there. All right, I like a horse that transitions down. So as soon as I stop kicking, if he stops and walks by himself, I let him rather than push him back into the trot, because I want him in that mindset of, you know, later on he's going to be a racehorse, he's going to go, go, go. But if I can get him in that mindset where he just transitions down all the time and wants to walk, well, it means he's in a better frame of mind, and it's easier to teach then. He's more prepared to listen. He's not going to get hot and worked up and bothered. So yeah, I'll plenty of rise trot, just so they get used to you in the saddle, up, down, up, down. You can feel you about. Bring him back in. So once once he's had a few more rides and done this pattern religiously, he'll every time I go to that middle one, he'll want to walk, because that's the mountain block. That's where we get off to finish the ride, so it won't take him long. You know, in another couple of days he'll start to learn that when he goes there, that's where I get off. That's where the ride finishes. So he's going to be happy to walk around that, and that way, if he ever starts getting worked up and the ride gets a bit too hard for him and he's switching off, I can easily just bring him down and bring him into the mountain block and walk him around it, and he'll just switch himself off and relax. So bring him out to the wall again, and we'll give him a trot the other way. So he feels like he's going to canter, so I'll just let him. Okay, that's for this stage, that's really, really good, because there's no drama. You're not forcing them to canter. He just did it on his own mean, on his own values, and he's happy to canter in frame, and now he feels like he wants to trot. So I'm going to sit a little bit deeper and hope he trots, but no, he's speed up again. So yeah, but if he gets too fast, I can bring him into the pattern again. There we go. And transition him down to a walk. So like I said, while they're still learning to steer properly, it's not perfect, but we just keep it consistent, and it'll become better and better each day. So yeah, so in my rides, I like to do heaps of transitions, heaps of change of directions. They're the two problem areas. And it's all good. Once you're travelling and going straight, it's all good just to maintain that. But like I said, the problem areas where things go wrong are transitioning or changing direction. So that's the majority part of my ride I like to do. All right, we approach the wall. We'll go for another trot. Yeah, so he's nice and relaxed. He's working his top line. Just raised the head a little bit there just as I spoke, but he feels like he's just going to settle back down into it. All right, so he wants to transition to a walk, so we'll let him. Like I said, it's important to get him in that frame of mind of transitioning down all the time. If they're always looking to transition down, they're not going to get themselves worked up. You know, these are thoroughbreds. They're pretty easy to pep up later on. So majority of my rides, if I can just get them, teach them to switch off, teach them to breathe properly, teach them to drop the tongue. They're important things for later on. So yeah, so it's all about just get that right frame of mind. So as I go around these, I'll slowly start to apply a bit more pressure with the leg, try and pick up that inside rib cage and push them out a little bit. Just set them up for later on. I'll teach this fella to move his shoulders across, teach him to side pass. It's very important. You can't do enough leg yielding, and the sooner you can teach them, the better it is. Sets them up for life after racing. You know, every other discipline that they'll do after they're finished being a racehorse involves leg control, whether he's show jumping, hacking, dressage, camp drafting, polo cross or anything, you know, or just being a nice horse for a young girl to do pony club on. But leg control is going to be very important. So yeah, like I said, while I'm doing this drill, I'll start to slowly introduce. Just there, you see I just pushed the inside, pushed his ribs out a little bit, just to start setting up that side pass for later. But yeah, now we'll give him another trot. So yeah, the bit I'm using is a tom thumb with keys. You can hear him playing with the keys, which is, he's just volunteered to go into a canter, so I'll let him canter. We'll roll this around a little bit. He wants to come back down again, so we'll let him. So, you know, I'm willing to let him take control of the ride as long as he's going to be relaxed within himself. And asking him to do what I want him to do, that'll all come later. But at the moment, we want it to be enjoyable for him. But yeah, like I was saying, that the bit I use is tom thumb with keys. You can hear him playing with the keys, which is a really good sign. It means they've dropped their tongue and they're relaxing. Okay, it's really common for thoroughbreds, especially when you're introducing them to riding, to lift their tongue and want to hold it up and not breathe properly. The quicker we can teach them to drop it and breathe properly, means less anxiety, less stress, less ulcers, better control. Put him back into the drill. We'll just do this a couple more times and then we'll call this ride over. To the end of the ride, I'll take him out down this other end and I'll do a one-rein stop on him. Just start to install the switch off button that we might need if problems occur. It's always good to have that ability to be able to switch them off and get them to stand still and think about things. So, and plus it helps a lot with flexion, suppleness, stretches those neck muscles. All right, we'll just hold him in until he stops. There we go. Give him a pat. Okay. And as you see, he's got the tongue down. He's playing with the bit. Okay, he might take a big breath here soon, but he's not desperate for oxygen. He's been quite relaxed about the whole thing. Might need to take that breath, but there we go, mate. We'll head back to the drill, change directions, and we'll do the one-rein stop the other way as well. We'll get him to do a couple of backups before we hop off him. Just like I said, it's good to teach him all this stuff. Like, he's not going to use this much in his time in racing, but sets himself for life after racing. You know, the leg yielding, backing up, forward, backwards, left, right. It's all good to teach them that as soon as you can, and start to improve on it every ride you have. That way they just get more and more responsive and more willing to listen. So yeah, so we'll do a lot more of that. The leg yielding and the backing up, a lot more of that in the breaking in process, and we'll do more of that than we will mileage. That way they learn more, travel better, listen better, and when things go wrong later, they're easier to fix because you've got those controls on them. But like I said, if I keep returning him to the mountain block to hop off, he wants to check it out and have a bit of a play with it. So yeah, so just let him do that. The more he comes to it, the more I leave him alone, so he starts to learn that if he comes to the mountain block, all the pressure's off. This is his pressure-free zone. He starts to learn that this is the end of the ride, and then he'll want to come here more often. Standing's always good for him. The more you can teach him to stand, the better. You know, especially these horses. You see a lot of racehorses. Standing's not a popular pastime for them. As soon as a rider's on them, all they want to do is move, move, move. But yeah, so I'll give him plenty of time while he's happy to stand and relax and not want to walk off. Sit on him, spend a bit of time bonding. A guy once told me sometimes, he said, sometimes the best thing you could do is just grab yourself a book, go stand in the middle of the paddock and read your book. Good, there we go. All right, so that was good. His fellow was a lot more, he was a lot better behaved on top than he was on the ground. He was a bit naughty on the ground, but yeah. Some days are like that. Let's go, mate.